Jeez. These last things get a little bit more annoying to get ready for. Tell you that much. But we're here anyway. We're gonna sit here. We're gonna talk about the Packers beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead tonight. 30. What was it? 35 to 27. Then 27. Yeah, 34-27. Thankfully, the Packers were able to close out that game. I tell you guys what. After I say after that first quarter, and I was watching how we were playing. I just couldn't believe what the freak I was watching. Like I going in with the halftime. Like all that's going through my head is like just the inability from the offense to move the goddamn ball. The defense just getting absolutely picked apart by that Chiefs offense, and that was to be expected. I didn't go into this game thinking that the defense was just going to be miraculously shut down the Chiefs offense, even with Matt Moore at quarterback. It wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. I swear to God, I hate ambulances. I hate ambulances. I hate sirens. I hate police. I hate all of them. I've been sitting here, doing some little couple things before I went live for over the past hour, and not a single damn thing drove by. As soon as I go live, not even 2 minutes in, these motherfuckers are all just going by with their freaking sirens. Jeez. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this game, man. Just continue what I was saying. Second quarter, the first quarter, Packers were coming out firing on all cylinders. We got a couple of quick stops from defense. Offense, for the most part, was looking all right. The run game wasn't really all there, but Aaron Rodgers was finding guys to get the spread the ball to, a la vintage Aaron Rodgers, getting out of the pocket, making some really good throws. That throw to Jake Kumbro in particular was really good. But man, this offense is still lacking in a wide receiver department, man. Like it's painful. It's painful to watch us play, where our best receivers are our running backs. I think that's the most disappointing thing about it all is that our best receivers are our running backs. Like it's a lot. Like this moron, Brian Gustin, right? This dude literally had the nerve last week after we beat the Raiders. All right, we had a really good game against the Raiders, okay, and it was good. I'm not saying that that it wasn't great to win the football game, anything like that. But after we win the goddamn game, this dude has the nerve to say, "Well, I'm not too worried now. We probably won't need to make a trade. But now that we see how the offense played again." I'm like, what have you been watching? It was one damn game against the Raiders. Yeah, it didn't look good for the Raiders on the Raiders end for that's for damn sure. But if you really watched that football game, how can you come away from that game still thinking that we're okay at wide receiver, even with Devontae still on the sidelines? How can you possibly come out of there still thinking we're okay at wide receiver? Our best wide receivers right now are our running backs. These are the guys who are making plays right now. How ridiculous is that? Is our lead wide receivers is number 33, who pretty much is most of our offense. Let's keep it real. When I'm sitting there on whether it's on my videos or if it's on Bruce's website, doesn't matter where the hell I am. I keep repeating myself. That offense runs through Aaron Jones. You get that guy to football. And he had another spectacular game. He stunk up the place against the Lions, and he came back these next two games and made up for it big time. Came through with some really good runs down there at crunch time to close out the football game. Made that really big play where he took it to the house. Had two touchdowns called back. That man is our offense. You give him the football, no matter how you got to do it. Whether he's running the ball out of the backfield or he's catching it out of the backfield and picking up yards, I don't give a damn. When you talk about that Packers offense, once you get past Aaron Rodgers, there aren't that many weapons. There aren't. There really isn't. When you talk about the lack of weapons we have a wide receiver with number 17 on the sideline. And right now, our only weapon on offense, our only two weapons on offense is Rodgers and Aaron Jones. And the front office stupidly thinks that just by having Rodgers back there, quarterback, that's enough. That's enough to not go out and try to find another receiver who can really get open and make plays consistent. This front office is run by morons, man. They're run by morons. This front office is absolutely run by morons. Who the man? I don't. Whatever, man. I mean, it's. I can sit here and I can shit on Brian Gustin all night, all night. Who the hell watch the Packers and think that all? Yeah, come on, man. Just stop. Just stop. Well, anybody who's watching this game, you noticed that Patrick Mahomes did not play in this football game. And I think that was the best thing that could have happened to Packers. I mean, not nothing against Patrick Mahomes or celebrating that he got hurt. It's nothing like that. It's just the fact that going into Arrowhead in a against a Chiefs team that can make big plays at a snap of finger at any point in time is scary, and it's a nightmare for any opposing defense, especially our defense that is one not very good at matching up against those weapons. Two, are not good at tackling either. So you got Sam Watkins, you got Travis Kelce, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Sean McCoy, who still got something in him. I feel like they should have used him a little bit more. So it really didn't matter who was back there at quarterback. It really didn't matter. It didn't matter so much who was back there at quarterback. It didn't really matter. That Chiefs offense is run well most of the part by Andy Reid and his schemes. Most quarterbacks under Andy Reid's system do have a lot of success, as you've seen in the past, with the Michael Vicks of the world and Donovan McNabb, those guys, even Alex Smith. You see what Andy Reid's offense and his play calling does for these guys. Unfortunately for Andy Reid, for the most part, even when you go back to when Donovan McNabb, majority of his career, didn't have many great wide receivers. Didn't have a lot of great wide receivers, but they still somehow made it to 4 straight NFC Championship games, 3, 4. So you got to tip the hats off to Andy Reid what he does in that offense. Unfortunately for Andy Reid, most of the time he doesn't have a good defense. And the Chiefs defense were missing 3 starters tonight. I think another guy, Breland went down. He came back in the game, and they were banged up. So this was a game that the Packers just could not afford to win, could not afford to lose. We had to steal that game tonight in Arrowhead. If we would have lost, then that would have gave not only Saints in the first place for home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but also, even though we'll still be at first place in the North, it helps the Vikings close in that gap. So that shows you just how important it was to come out of Arrowhead with that win. And now that we're halfway through the season, that's just pretty much what the Packers really should be aiming for. It's still most important. It's still important, obviously, to win that division, because right now, the Bears they're struggling. The Bears got to do something to turn their season around fast, or it's just going to get worse. But as far as and then you got the Lions. They're kind of up and down, but they handle business today, and then in their home stadium, picking up the win. So they're not out of it yet. The Bears technically aren't out of it yet, but if they don't get it going soon, they drop maybe another 2 games, then you can pretty much call it a wrap. And of course, we got the Vikings, those stupid ass Vikings. They're on our ass. We can't let up at all and get them control this division by no means. That's the last thing I want is to see the Vikings win this division again. So the Packers have definitely got to keep their foot on the gas. And because now heading into the second half of the season, it's now to start focusing on and really fighting for home field advantage throughout the playoffs, getting that first round back. So that's I think for the most part that's the pretty much the key thing is focusing on getting that first round back. You know, having that home field advantage throughout the playoffs, even with and you know, I don't want to, I don't want to sound too miserable. You know, it's like even with the lack of weapons on offense outside of Jones and Rogers, it's still good to see the offense turn it up and do what they got to do to get down the field and score when we need to at the moment. And it's even more important just to go on. It's just to get these road wins, man. The Packers have been struggling to win on the road for what 2-3 years now, losing a lot of tough games where we didn't necessarily get blown out. We just lost a lot of close games, but regardless, there were a lot of games on the road we just lost. Last season, we only won one road game, and that was in overtime. And the season before that was in overtime as well against the Browns. So we've been struggling like all hell to win on the road. And so far, I think we have I think we have 3 wins in a row now. I believe because most of the games we had this season have been in Lambeau, which was something we definitely needed. We definitely needed to handle. The NFL decided to give us 3 straight home games really early in the season, so we're pretty much going to have all our home games wrapped up very early in December, and then we'll finish off the year going on the road against both the Vikings and the Lions. And those are going to be 2 really tough matchups that we got to finish our season. So that's what I mean by how the Packers cannot afford to take their foot off the gas, especially now that we're about to go into LA, and take on the Chargers. Don't sleep on the Chargers, man. Do not sleep on the Chargers. Even though they've been struggling as well, they still got a lot of fight. They still got a lot of fight in them. And Phillip Rivers easily can light up our defense. Easily. Even with his bad offensive lines and all the stuff like that, it really doesn't matter. Phillip Rivers can still easily light up our secondary. So watch it. If we lose the Chargers next week, it won't surprise me at all. At all. So now, look at again, let me just look at the schedule. Like, we got that big win on the road against the Bears, beat the Cowboys on the road, and now we just beat the Chiefs on the road. Those are all really, really tough matchups, man. All on the road, man. Chiefs, Bears, Cowboys. Our next tough road game is going to be next week against the Chargers. And then we got to go. And then after that, we come back home for a short time against the Panthers. Can't afford to lose that game. We go back on the road again against the 49ers. Like, our road games are tough this year. So that's why it's even more important that we're getting these wins now. On the road against the Chargers, the 49ers, Vikings, and the Lions, obviously. We got to finish that off on the road against those teams. We even got to go up to New Jersey and play the New York Giants. They call it New York Giants. They play in New Jersey. Though, to be fair, even though down here the Redskins are the Washington Redskins, they play in Lando and Merlin. So I guess I can't make fun of that too much. Oh man. What a week of football, man. And the crazy part is I barely really could watch any games today because I pretty much was feeling like crap. I didn't really feel like watching any games. I might try to watch a couple tomorrow if I have the time, but I might end up popping on the panel and probably won't be in that much of a mood. I mean, not much of a mood, but what I mean is I probably won't have that many games I have watched up until that point. It's not easy to watch all these games. It can honestly get a little bit tiring and stressful when you're watching all these games and you're trying to film study on each team. So, oh man, we definitely gotta keep pace with the Saints though. I don't see the Saints losing a game for a while. They man, Drew Brees, man, it took him a while to get it going, man. Once he got it going, there was no stopping this Saints team. They're looking really good on offense now that Drew Brees is back, and now you got that. Then you still got their defense playing so well. Those guys got to play the. So right now they're home against the Falcons. They're going to win that, and Matt Ryan doesn't play. On the road against the Bucks, home against the Panthers, and then back on the road against the Falcons. So the Saints have 4 straight division games. That's kind of a weird schedule. 4 straight division games. So they got 4 straight division games, and then they're home against the Niners, home against the Colts. Finish the game on the road against the Titans and the Panthers. Like, come on, what kind? Who came up with this schedule? The Saints end their season on the road against the Titans and the Panthers. The Titans and the Panthers. The Titans game, you might as well write that down as a W. The Panthers, we don't even know what Panthers team is going to show up. We don't even know who's going to be a quarterback at that point. So while we got to go on the road twice against 2 division opponents, finish off our year with 3 division games in a row, these dudes go on the road against 1 division opponent that isn't playing all that well, and a sorry ass Titans team. So there you go, man. The battle for first place in NFC, man. That's the battle for the first place in NFC. I really don't see the Saints losing a game until maybe the 49ers, man. And that's December. That's the way December 8th. They probably won't lose the game until then. I don't see any of these teams right now that's currently in their schedule they'll be able to mash them up enough. Unless the Falcons, you got the Falcons. They got to play the Falcons again in Atlanta, but the Saints have beaten the Falcons in Atlanta so many times this year. But Matt Ryan at that point should be back. But it's a division game. But the Saints have had the Falcons numbers ever since Drew Brees has been their quarterback. Man, I hate these notifications, man. Why are you notifying me that I'm live? I've been live for almost 18 minutes now. Practically 18 minutes. Now you want to say, oh, I'm live. Well, I hope more people can catch it. If not, that's okay. You can watch the archive. That's no problem. Oh, man. Yeah. I tell you what, man. Patrick Mahomes was playing this game. This would have been a lot. This would have been a lot worse. This really could have been a lot more worse, especially after the way the Packers offense, hit the stop. Had a car crash in the second quarter. And honestly, to me, it was really unacceptable because when you Rodgers has been playing this game for way too long to be struggling to not only read defense and also know when the blitz is coming and been able to get that ball out quickly. I'm not saying he's perfect or anything like that. He's just been in the league way too long to be taken down and being taken advantage of by blitzes like that. And that was happening all throughout the second quarter. The Chiefs defense figured that, you know what, we're not going to try to play a lot of zone coverage and have Rodgers pick that off. Instead, we're going to blitz him and try to get to him and get more pressure on him, which is a good strategy. It's not a bad strategy. Even though Rodgers has still shown that he can't escape a lot of pressure. A lot of times he looks off guys who are open because he wants that big play. So that's one of the reasons why the blitzes get home. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mercedes Lewis who came open underneath on that 1 3rd down when he scrambled all the way back and he got tackled for a sack. Like, he didn't have to take that sack. He could have just threw the ball away like he always does. He really should have just threw the ball away. But if you rewind the play and you watch it and pause it right when they give you the camera angle from Rogers behind Rogers, you see I think it was Marcellus Lewis who came open underneath, and he just completely missed him. He didn't see him. So it's stuff like that, man. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't expect these quarterbacks ever to come out here and play perfect. But it's little things like that where you just it gets frustrating sometimes when you watch Rodgers and when especially when teams are bringing pressure or they're not. And he has plenty of time in the pocket and he's just standing there holding on the ball too long, not getting rid of that football. And you can blame the wide receivers. Yeah, we're not really that talented wide receiver without Devontae. I understand that. I was just ranting about it at the start of the stream. But a lot of times with these play designs, especially with the Packers, is that a lot of play calling and just the formations in general just a lot of times are just not efficient enough for these guys at wideout. Like what I mean is the play calling. Most of the time, we're calling plays that's asking these wide receivers to run out and get open like 15 yards down the field. Sometimes these guys aren't capable of doing it, like a Jimmy Graham, for example. Oh, jeez. And I promise you that none of that was going on before I went live. But again, they like to pick on me, so let's go ahead and make all that noise or damn sirens run it going back once I get on air. Oh gosh. Anyway, like I said, a lot of times the play calling just has these guys running 15, 20 yard routes down, running like 15 to 20 yard routes and asking them to get open. And it's like these guys just aren't winning their battles. So like you can point the finger at the coaching and play calling, you can point the finger at the players, but good coaches and good coaching schemes find ways to get the ball in these guys' hands and use them the correctly way they should. Good coaching schemes and good coaches put their players in the best positions. They put their guys in the best position, which is one of the reasons again why Aaron Jones is pretty much our entire offense. The Packers do a good job scheming to get him the football. Even if we're not getting that much on the ground, which it's which to be honest, it's not like the ground game has ever been something that the Packers, ever really depend on that much. Like, yeah, we'll run the ball here and there, but for the most part, we're always looking to drop back and pass. I mean, that touchdown pass to Jamal Williams, it was incredible, incredible throw. But I'm sitting there wondering why we're lined up in shotgun on 31. Like we can't trust that our offensive line can get enough push. We can't trust Jamal Williams to get 1 yard or Aaron Jones. I'm like, is this? It's like, is Mike McCarthy still somehow calling plays? Like, why are we locked? Why are we in shotgun on 31? So it's little stuff like that. It's little stuff like that that sometimes can just give you a headache when you watch the team and you look at some of the play designs and the way they're being and the way these plays are being called. It just leaves a big bump in your head. And that touchdown pass again, it was an amazing throw, but it was a broken play. It was a broken play. We had no business being lined up 3rd and 1 in the red zone at shotgun. There was no reason to be lined up like that. We could have got it. Wasn't 3rd and goal. It was 3rd and 1. We could have ran for it. Picked up 1 yard for a first down. And if they stopped us, go for it. But we got lucky. Rogers made an incredible throw off a broken play. Classic sandlot football, and he threw that ball and he gave Jamal Williams a chance. He came down the football with a great catch. And it's too bad that those guys are not going to get the credit they deserve for making really good catches like that. The Jake Kumerow, we made that great catch also early in the first quarter, and then Jamal Williams made that really nice catch as well. These guys, unfortunately, are not going to get that much credit because who's throwing them the football. They're not going to get a whole lot of credit because you know who. But when a play breaks down like that, yeah, he's one of the best, man. He's one of the best. I mean, you can't really get too much. You can't get too much upset about it. He's one of the best. You talk about Rodgers and what he's capable of doing, scrambling out of the pocket and making throws in a run. He's one of the best. I mean, in his prime, he was killing teams doing that. That's why you got quarterbacks like Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes being compared to him, and when they're in their games doing the same thing. And again, I'm sorry to Chiefs fans that Patrick Mahomes wasn't able to play tonight because that game would have got even more views. I mean, can you imagine? Sunday Night Football has already got good ratings, and there's already going to be a whole ton of people who watch that football game. But just imagine Patrick Mahomes was playing. Whew, the media, everybody else, they would have been hyping up this matchup all week. All week. It's Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. Even though they're not on the same they're not on the field at the same time. It's more or less Rodgers against the Chiefs defense, and it's Patrick Mahomes against the Packers defense. Speaking of Packers defense, man, like I said, if I had to see, like, I don't know what's going on with Darius Smith. Like, the guy goes out there, and he plays well, and he gets pressure, he gets good pressure on the quarterback, he gets a sack, and the next thing you know, he's going down for another injury. Like, it's honestly gotten to the point where if they say it's an injured Packer in the field, I don't even have to watch and look, and I don't even need to check and see who it is. I know it's Darius Smith. This guy goes down every game. Anybody that watches the Packers, this guy goes down every game. Every game he goes down. He goes down with injury. It is it's nerve wracking because we need him out there. We need him out there opposite of Preston Smith. But every game, this guy's going down with a mysterious injury, and we're just like holding our breath, like, what the fuck? Get up. Get up. Whew, man. I think for the most part, Jair played pretty good tonight. Blake, even though he had that club on his hand, was okay. But, he had that busted coverage again with Travis Kelce, and it just can't expect Blake to really do too much there. Those guys up front, they didn't get enough pressure on Matt Moore. He had plenty of time to throw the football. So to be fair, they were calling plays to get the ball out of his hands pretty fast. And of course, you had Tyreek Hill doing this thing. They did a good job trying to get him the football as much as possible, even though they weren't going to hit him deep. And all the rest of those guys in the Chiefs offense, like I said, it didn't really matter who was that quarterback. That Chiefs offense is so explosive; they had so much speed that it was really just a really bad matchup for the Packers defense. It really was. Because the Packers can't match that type of speed and athleticism. They can't. I love a lot of those guys on defense, but they can't. A matchup like that is just too much for them. And like I said, Patrick Rose is playing. Whew, this probably would have been a loss. But but I'll be the last person to tell you that. I'll be the last person to tell you, or even thankful for that matter, to even be like, oh well, let's mope around and say we should. No, I'm not going to do that, man. Of course, I'm happy we won the football game. I didn't, I sat here for like 10 minutes talking about how important it was to stay not only in the first place in the NFC North, but also tied for first place in the NFC. Yeah, that's what it's all about now, man. We just coming to the second half of the season. You got to start thinking about it and fighting for the first place in the NFC. And like I said, the Saints, they might not lose the game for a while. Their schedule is pretty light at this point after this. I mean, other than the 49ers and playing the Falcons twice, which one of those I don't expect Matt Ryan to be playing, the Saints schedule from here on out is pretty light. It's pretty light, man. And their defense is playing good football. And now Drew Brees is back. Forget about trying to stop their offense. Those guys are gonna make noise walking into the playoffs again this year. And then all I can do as a Packers fan is hope that our best guy on offense, as far as wide receiver goes, Devontae Adams comes back Finally, Rodgers gets his best weapon back. We keep using Aaron Jones and just hope to God that those guys, those other guys, wide receiver, can step up and make a play when they're asked to. Because I don't expect anything out of any of those guys, man. I don't expect anything. Alan Lazard is really unproven. Yet he made a couple big plays. Made that big play to the Lions. Made another big catch against the Raiders. But still, the guy hasn't been on the field that long. He's a rookie. You can't be sitting here coming to games depending on him. You can't depend on Jimmy Graham because that guy is just up and down. Very inconsistent. Disappears a lot of games. Valdez Scanley is just a downhill, just a go route type receiver. That's all he is. I know it's saying he's only in his second year, but at the moment, that's pretty much all he is. He's not a guy that's gonna go out there and give you like seven to eight catches for like 100 some yards. That's not the type of wide receiver he is. And quite frankly, if he was on another football team, he'd probably be a fourth stringer at best. Geronimo, same thing. Love the guy, but he doesn't have the best hands in the world. Doesn't have any breakaway speed. He's big. He's a big target. Sometimes having all that size doesn't really help you that much if you're not able to create a lot of separation. And you don't have the greatest hands either. So, and that's why a lot of teams this year that we played have been able to just match us up one-on-one coverage and man coverage. With a lack of Devontae, it's easy for teams to just play man-to-man coverage with the Packers wide receivers because most of these guys are just not winning their matchups. And like I said, you got Rodgers back there holding the football for like 5 seconds. It gives teams plenty of time to either call a blitz to try to get to him or eventually win that battle at the line. So, even though I'm happy with the win, this offense can have its lights shut off so fast. Like it's a wonderful thing to watch them come out with a big head of steam, jump up to early leads, and then they just run into a brick wall every time afterwards. And it's all about how you handle that adversity. And the best thing for us is that they were able to. So, and by doing that, they stay in the game. They buckle down. They tie the game back up. Eventually, going on to win a football game. So, hey, that's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's a great feeling. I'm gonna get out of here. I enjoyed talking about this game a lot. I'll probably do another recap after I rewatch the game. More and more details on as far as stats and all that stuff goes. But you're watching this live, which wasn't really anybody, but that's okay. You catch this afterwards, drop a like, leave me a comment on how you felt about this football game, and I am going to get out of here. Peace.